It's another beautiful Friday evening. What a lovely evening it is here in the sim at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, which means it is the perfect time to kick off the next installment of Friday Night Prime Time on Race Spot on the iRacing Esports Network here in Interlagos. Welcome once again to the iRacing IMSA Sports Car Championship. My name is Nolan Rampel. As always, Ryan Walker joins me in the commentary box with Connor Maddock behind the cameras for today's presentation. A very different scene here, Ryan, than last week on the Roval. A very famous track we visit today, 2.6 miles, about the same length of Talladega Superspeedway, 4.2 kilometers long, will make up this track that has hosted, of course, most famously, the Brazilian Formula One Grand Prix for decades past. And of course, it's got longer straights, in many cases much tighter corners, which means that unlike at the Charlotte Roval, the racing here is definitely going to be much tighter, especially in the first and final sectors.
Yeah, absolutely. This track is absolutely one of my favourites, and also the World Endurance Championships visited here in the past as well, so it's got a bit of a history. But today it's got the IMSA Sportscar Championship, and it's going to be tough to overtake in a way, especially in that middle sector, because basically it's so tight, and with 3 classes it's going to be a bit chaotic. But you've got plenty of chances to make a move. You've got a chance to make a move into turn 1 and also into Rita Aposta as well. So a few corners to make a move in, but also today the drivers will have to be very wary and very careful with regards to timing the moves and also lapping traffic.
The track does tighten up in several places, most notably off of the pit straightaway right down in turn number 1. It's a downhill braking zone, it's into a hard left-hander, you're turning while you're braking, and then the track cuts back on itself for the Senna S before switching back again for the very long Curva do Sol. We're expecting quite a few drivers to be caught out there today, not just on the opening laps, but definitely when we're going past traffic. I'll tell you what, that is one of the most thrilling complexes to watch, a side-by-side battle going through there. It's a true spectacle to see, and you can only hope we're going to be seeing plenty of it here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And Interlagos, it's always produced great racing in the past, in real life and also in iRacing. And I think today with the IMSA Sportscar Championship, it'll be no exception. And it's a race I'm very much looking forward to.
Qualifying is underway at the moment. It's right now Simeon Lynch on the pole position overall for the LMP2 category with a 1:27.48 in GTLM. It's Dmitry Kofanov who is sitting first place for the GTLM machines. For the GTDs is, of course, Hendrik Cruz sitting on pole right now with the 1:31.189. We're watching Matthew Stagg currently on a flyer as the times continue to tumble down the chart. Matthew Stagg, of course, right now about 0.5 of a second off a pole sitter in GTD. He is on his second flying lap, and he is no doubt going to be trying to see if he can go for pole position, but he's got 0.5 second to gain on Hendrik Cruz just ahead of him.
Absolutely, there's a ride on board Stag at the moment, heading down to the final corner, or maybe not the final corner. It's kind of, I guess, in a way, not a final corner like we were discussing before the broadcast, because you've still got the long run up to the home straight, so technically this could be, you could say, a long final corner as Stag comes up over the hill. And basically, it's one of those sections that you don't want to turn the wheel too much because it'll scrub off the speed as Stag comes up to the start-finish line now. And it will be interesting to see if he improves, and he does a 1:31.3.
A 1:31.3, and that is going to be good enough for P2 for now. Look at how close that was, though. Just 0.5 of a second off of Kofanov's time. Definitely a very, very impressive run. Let's take a look at the number 8 machine of Reese Newland. Actually, check that. We're going to go to the 33 car right now. One of the LMP2 machines. This is Argenis Riera. He's right now on his second flyer lap, just over the top of the hill. Right now, he's sitting second to last, apart from Kazuki Umeshima, who is yet to set a time. Check that. Umeshima just sets a time. Good enough for 12th place. That kicks Riera back to 13th, and he is going to set his time, but it was invalidated on the last lap, so it does not appear like that second lap is going to count for the 33 machine. Tough break for Argenis Riera in qualifying here.
Yep, and that's the thing with Interlagos as well. It's there's not really that many places to run off, you could say, but also, well, in the first sector anyway, if you run too wide, ever so slightly, you can get an off track, and it's an easy thing to do around Interlagos. And as we ride on board of Kazuki Omashima at the moment, heading into the first hairpin. And Kazuki, I've not seen his name around for quite a while. I know he's quite famous for racing on the Pro Series and iRacing in the past, and he's always been a quick driver.
He's definitely got to show that speed here today, as he was about 1.85 seconds off the pole sitter Simeon Lynch's time, so he's got to hope that this is going to be enough to blast him up to the top of the charts. What will it be as he comes off of the final couple of corners now, just over the rise and blasting down the pit straight once again. 30 seconds left in qualifying. Umeshima hugging the pit wall really close, nearly clipping the tires across the line. That will improve. A 1:28.17, good enough for second place. Not quite, though, for pole position.
Yeah, that was a good end to the lap for Omashima. He managed to... Yeah, he basically kept it was a nice smooth lap, kept it together and kept it clear, and not pole position, but he's still on the front row nevertheless.
checker flag flies on qualifying, and it does come to a close. So let's go ahead and take a look down at your starting grid for today's presentation of Friday Night Primetime. It's Simeon Lynch on the pole in LB2, Kazuki Umeshima beside him on the front row, Blair Main and Daniel Kraft in 3rd and 4th, Matteo Calistani in 5th, Yannick Schnetz in the 6th position, Kevin Bellens and Casey Kerwin in 7th and 8th place, Xavier Sanchez in 9th, Joaquin Hernandez-Gil in the 10th position, Inigo Carmona in 11th place, Thibaut Worsdy in 12th, Arguez Riera rounding out the 13-car LB2 field. Moving back down to GTLM, Dmitry Kofanov is on the pole position for the GTLM machines in his Corvette. First time we've seen a Corvette on pole all season. Gianni Vecchio in the 2nd position, Alexei Nesov in 3rd, Artem Grabau in 4th, Reese Newland is going to be in 5th, Michael Neumeier II in 6th position, Jacob Tofts in 7th, Taj Edwards in 8th, Hugo Preto in 9th, Brett McFadden in 10th, Miran McKeeve in 11th place, Jack Andrick in 12th. Looks like it's going to be Christian Bassau rounding out a 13-car GTLM field. Continuing down the order for GTD, Malte Stumpf in the 1st position is going to be Hendrik Cruz right beside him on the front row. Matthew Stagg in 3rd, Jesus Bermejo in 4th, Carter Hutcherson in 5th, Ahmed Garib in 6th, Elvis Rankin 7th, Tristan Iglesias in 8th, Jerry Tallgren 9th, and Tonin Titus 10th. Rounding out an 11-car GTD field is Justin Klassens. Once again, a very split field here today. One thing notable here, Dmitry Kofanov putting his number 4 Corvette on the pole position. The first time we've seen that here in the IMSA Sportscar Championship this season. You know who's in 2nd place though? A Ferrari. 3rd place goes to another Corvette. It's really a Corvette-dominated field right now. The top 5 dominated by Corvettes, save for one Ferrari. The BMW is 6th on back, so this might be a track where the American manufacturer really makes a big play here in the IMSA Sportscar Series Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be the nature of the track suiting the Corvette, but nevertheless, I have to agree with you. It's good to see a Corvette and up there as well, and also a Ferrari, a few Ferraris as well. So good to see, especially at the start of the season where it was basically like BMWs dominating, but the Corvettes and the Ferraris right up there, and it's good to see around the Interlagos.
So just rounding through the final corners now behind the pace car as we go on board with Kazuki Umeshima. This is going to be one heck of a race for sure. I mean, Interlagos is a track that has provided thrilling racing in the past. It's going to be all in the hands of Simeon Lynch. We'll have to see if he can get off of the line and run away with the lead.
Yep, absolutely. As we come up to the final corner now, and they'll be going up the hill as well, and the safety car will be in, and they will be underway. As I think on the first lap, or the first couple of laps anyway, but especially into turn 1 and turn 2, and then up to turn 3 or turn 4. It's all these drivers will have to be wary with the cold tyres as well.
So over the final corner and over the hill to the hands of Simeon Lynch, who is going to be doing everything he can to try to pull away quickly here in the opening laps of this race here today for the IMSA Sports Car Series Championship. Welcome once again to Friday Night Primetime. I'm Nolan Rample with Ryan Walker beside me, Connor Maddock behind the cameras. The pace car pulls off, and then Simeon Lynch, green flag drops. Simeon's on the loud pedal. We are off and away and racing in Interlagos. Already bunching up behind. 3, 4 wide down the front straightaway. Contact made further in the field, and LB2 is there down into turn number 1.
Yeah, the GTLM class has just got going as well, and they're heading down to turn 1. They're all bunched up.
Oh, one sliding, LB2. Check that LB2, 3-4 cars around. Somehow nobody spun all the way around. They somehow managed to recover that. We'll need to get a replay of that. One of the Ferraris has gone off. That is Gianni Vecchio. One of the BMWs spins out as well. Just behind him, this is the GTLM in the midst of this all going on. So complete chaos in the opening corners. Meanwhile, it looks like Hugo Preto has also spotted the BMW. He's having some massive difficulties. And it looks like GTD is well away and clear as well. But a lot of dramas early on here.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the pole position driver and the GTLM had issues in turn 1 as well. He went wide and ran onto the grass, and yeah, unfortunately, having the Gianni Vecchio had issues, and it's not the start. Oh, it's Kofanov dives up the inside of another GTLM car into the hairpin and just about loses it.
This is the replay of the race start with the LME2 machines. Then we're going to have to quickly jump back up front to the GTLM battle because it's a fierce fight for the lead there. Let's keep on this replay for now, though, and show you the mayhem that happened at LME2. How these cars did not spin each other out when they were coming down over the hill, I will have no idea. Look at the contact made behind there between two of these machines, and then there was one car that got loose and everybody just scattered behind them right about there. That's where the car shot loose. So look at everyone just scramble. My goodness me, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was it. As I look into the replay of the GTLMs now, and yeah, you see Kofanov and Vecchio off in the background, and not having the start of the race that they wanted, and they've lost tons of positions.
Simeon Lynch has pulled away. Meanwhile, as we ride on board with Vecchio for a brief moment as he went off in the first corner. I believe he was our second driver on the front row, so very unfortunate for him. And this is now live pictures here. The battle's still very fierce down through turn number 4. Michael Neumeier, the second, is really hounding Artem Grabau right now. The 14 Corvette trying to close up. The BMWs are trying to fight the way to the front. Neumeier can't make the look, though. He gets cut off. Look at how close he's getting, though, to the back end of Grabau's Corvette.
Yeah, as they head into the first of the hairpins, and as the Grabau gets sideways, and is Neumeier going to try and make a move up the inside? He is. Holy moly.
Neumeier doesn't have the line, though, for the second hairpin. That's still going to be in Grabau's favor. Grabau manages to hang on to the spot. Neumeier forced to back out. Got Reese Newland looking behind just to see if these guys are going to make a disastrous mistake. Looks like things have more or less calmed down. Nobody's spinning out the track anymore. Neumeier might be close enough, though, to have a look here down in the turn number 1.
Yeah, he might be indeed. He's got to run up the hill now, and he's in the slipstream, and he's got to run. But I don't think he's going to be close enough as he head down to turn 1. But then again, it looks like he's getting closer ever so slightly.
Closer, yeah, but not close enough to have the big lunge down in the turn number 1 that he might have been hoping for. So Neumeier forced to back off, reset to try again. But it looks like Grabau is starting to pull away just a little bit. The gap's up to half a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Nessov's just basically pulling away from these guys, and the rest of the part behind him while the squad are amongst themselves. And yeah, it's just starting to stretch that gap a little bit.
Gianni Vecchio's just had more troubles over in the first sector of the racetrack. He just had another spin, and this was in the midst of one of the Porsches in GTLM. GTD race battle is also on, though, between Hendrik Cruz and Malte Stumpf. Luckily, Vecchio did keep it out of the barriers, so we're going to keep eyes on this GTD battle for the race lead here.
Yeah, I've not really had a chance to keep an eye on the GTD class at the moment, just because of all the mayhem that's going on. And at the moment, we've got the battle for the lead between Cruz and Stumpf at the moment. And between the two Audis, I thought Cruz was going to lunge up the inside.
Now, correct if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure these two drivers were actually Maniti Racing teammates from other series past. So these two guys are technically teammates in other series, so I don't know if that's going to impact how they're racing, but should note that Cruz did pass Stumpf for the lead here this time by over there in the run from turns 3 down to turn number 4. And now will Stumpf try to fight back? That was going to be the question here as they exit Junsao.
They've got to watch behind as well, because I've got a GTLM BMW coming up behind them to pass them, and that's for position, I believe. So yeah, heading up through the home straight, and it looks like the GTLM BMW's got a runner will be passed before turn 1, as I try and get my words right.
He is going to be well passed into the braking zone, so no grief here for this GTD battle for the lead, but it's still as close as ever as Stumpf tries to see if he can maintain something. A puff of smoke flies up, so potentially some sort of incident just happened further up the road, but whatever it is, it's clear of the track. Got Gianni Vecchio climbing up behind them. He's the Ferrari, the blue Ferrari just behind them. So Vecchio is now up and getting past with this GTD traffic as well.
Yeah, and it's not been the start for Gianni Vecchio. Yeah, it's been an absolute nightmare, but I don't think he'll be in contention for a win, but I think the best he can hope for is possibly, if he keeps it clean, as maybe a top 6 finish.
Got to remember, he had a secondary contact just a little while ago with one of the Porsches in the GTLM field. They were both trying to get around GTD traffic. They were side by side through turn 2, made a bit of contact. That sent Vecchio off again. Luckily, though, managed to get the car sorted, didn't hit the wall. So just a few burnt tires. Looks like he's gotten that car reset now. and he is going to be more than ready now to run down the field. I should note as well that there is live timing available for this race at racespot.tv/timing2. So live timing is available for you to check in on all your favorite drivers from today's presentation of Friday Night Primetime.
Absolutely, looking at his battle in GTD for the lead as Gianni Vecchio goes by the GTD leader, and he's a quick driver, Gianni, but he seems to be. It might just be me from watching him in the past. He seems to be very sometimes anyway mistake prone.
Got another battle. This is up in LMP2. We haven't given them a lot of love since the start of this race. Casey Kerwin trying to fend off Joaquin Hernandez Gil in that number 72 machine. So the American versus the Iberian driver. Casey Kerwin out of, I believe, Carolina. So he is doing a good job right now of keeping that number 17 machine at bay. Casey Kerwin, once again, a pro driver, runs in the eNASCAR or Coca-Cola eNASCAR Cup Series. Runs as well, I believe, in the Thrustmaster World Rallycross World Championship on iRacing as well. So big name here, Casey Kerwin, doing whatever he can to keep that number 8 car at bay. It looks like he's starting to close down a 6th place in class as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to mention that as well. He's closing the gap down to P6, and also Casey Kerwin. He could have won the race at Charlotte last week, but that drama-filled ending to the race at Charlotte, he could have won, but unfortunately he ended up getting a bit of damage toward the end.
Yeah, indeed. It was very unfortunate for Casey Kerwin, who got dumped by one of the BMWs on the last lap of the race, just as the race leader was running out of fuel pretty much on the back straightaway. So had the potential, but look at this. Kerwin trying to make the move on Kimona now. Not quite able to get up the inside, though, but he definitely tried it. I think Kerwin is not one of those drivers today who's going to want to wait around for long.
Yeah, absolutely not. Kerwin, I think if he gets a run heading up the hill on the exit of the final corner, he'll go for the move if he gets a chance, and he looks to be the quicker car at the moment out of him and Carbona.
Really hounding the rear wing of that Dallara P217 LMP2 machine. Kerwin still closing in to Carmona. Question is, will he be able to make the look by? Inigo Carmona really has his mirrors full right now. Kerwin's not going for the lunge this time behind the turn number 1. He could have a look here off of the Curva du Sol.
Yeah, I think he's thinking about it, but I think he just decided it's not worth taking the risk, and he seems to be a lot closer on the exit here, and he's got the run. I think it's just a question of where you try and go for the move. He just closes up under as your head down, and under braking he's going for the move up the inside, and it looks like he's got it done.
Very easy move there, textbook for Casey Kerwin. Inigo Carmona not putting up too much of a fight, realized he was faster, decided he was just going to let Kerwin on through. Meanwhile, race leaders have caught lap traffic up in front. This is right now the battle for P2 in the LMP2 category. They're right now darting through the GTD back markers.
Yeah, absolutely. As a hit. Contact with one of the GTD cars with Blair Mann.
Guys, got to be careful. It's a very tight section, this middle sector of the racetrack. Man is not going to have the optimal line here. Kazuki Umeshima might, though. Umeshima's trying to get Blair Mann back for the second position here. So what can Kazuki Umeshima make here down that front straightaway? He's definitely going to have the draft to help him out here. Won't be close enough for turn 1. Might be close enough though for turn 4. This is a track map showing you the classes right now. Yellow is the LMP2 machines. Yellow is the GTD machines. Blue is the LMP2 machines. Green is the GTLM traffic. So that just shows you where all the traffic is on the track right now. The GTLM's pretty much running all on their lonesome. Look at this though. Blair Mann going around the outside of Elvis Rankin. Umeshima's closing. Won't be close enough though for turn 4.
Not close enough to make a move, but they've got more GT3 travel. Oh, the bunched up under braking, and that's allowed Umeshima to close right up now.
Side by side behind, the Mercedes trying to get around an Audi. The two cars they just passed, they're going out of her position. That's Jesus Barmejo. And it's the number 15 machine that we're taking a look at right now. Look at this 3 wide with Daniel Kraft up the inside. There's no side by side. The Audi do battling with the Mercedes right now. The 32 machine definitely doing good to try to get the spot and hang on to it, but he does not manage to hang on to it. Meanwhile, Yannick Schnetz is trying to make his way around the outside now.
Yeah, it's all starting to get chaotic now, and everywhere they look, there's always something going on. But again, Umeshima's closer. But as we look at the battle in GTLM, the battle for the lead between Alexei Nesov and Artem Grabal, and the two Central Eastern European drivers going at it for the lead.
Alexei Nesov, what can he make here? It's 2 Corvettes right now running 1-2 and running line astern in the GTLM race lead. They have Michael Neumeier, the second, just behind in his BMW M8. Over there, it's another Corvette of Reese Newland on back. Car is nowhere to be found. Take a look at this battle in LMP2, though, just off of turn number 3. Big on the defensive goes the driver to the inside as Umeshima trying the outside, trying to make the move around the outside. Blairman defending big time on the inside. Can Umeshima get the cutback on the exit of turn number 4? Doesn't look like he can. Still has that run with the draft. Looking outside again as Blairman is all over the place on the defensive line.
Yeah, Blairman's basically defending like his life's on the line, and I think, yeah, it's just a matter of time before Kazuki gets by, and at the moment he's getting really racy.
Suzuki Umeshima wants to go. He does not want to hang around for long. He wants to see if maybe he can reel in Simeon Lynch, who has gapped these drivers by about 3.3 seconds as of right now. So it's a big gap up to the race leaders. So Umeshima is just trying to make sure he can get whatever track position he can right here down through Junsao. Once again, he might be closer to make a dive into turn 1.
Yeah, Umeshima gets a great exit, and he's got the slipstream coming up the hill, and I think he's a lot closer now, and I think he'll get the move done into turn 1. But again, Man goes to the inside to defend the line, and actually he doesn't go to the inside, so I think he's just deciding just to let Kazuki go.
Blairman eases off just to get to the braking zone, looks like might try to cut back, almost makes contact with Umeshima down in turn number 2 at the center S, but Umeshima already pulling a massive gap over these 2 drivers. It looks like he is going to be well and truly in the lead for now. Nothing that Blairman can really do about that one, so he's going to have to settle for 3rd place at the moment. Yep,
absolutely, and Umeshima starting to pull away now. I think Man might have maybe some slight damage on the front that might be affecting the aerodynamics, because these cars seem to be very, very sensitive to getting some damage, which seems to affect the handling.
Hernandez and Bellens are both going at it. They're just a couple tenths apart apiece. This is the battle for 8th place in the LMP2 field. This gap about 2 to 4 tenths apart at the moment. Hernandez Gil up in front of the 8th position. Kevin Bellens seeing if he can try to find a way through for the 8th position. So this is a battle just inside the top 10. They've got a lot of traffic behind, though, in their own class. They're going to have to worry about if they continue to catch GTLM traffic at bad times, as the leaders are starting to dart through that traffic now.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're looking at the battle for 8th position as well, heading up the hill, and it's kind of quieting down a little bit. It's not as chaotic as it was, but it just seems to have this quieting down ever so slightly.
It does seem like so far things are falling a bit more quiet on the track. So Bellens, is he close enough? He's gonna have to look. Oh my goodness! To the pit wall goes Bellens up the inside. Contact sends Jill wide. Hernandez loses the position. He's gonna lose another one here to Thibaut Warjny, who's going to say thank you very much for the 10th position. And Joaquin Hernandez Gil flashes the lights furiously.
Yeah, I don't think he was happy with that, because that was I wouldn't say it was a naughty move, but I think it was just hard racing and 2 drivers going at it. As I look at the replay now, heading down to turn 1, and I thought he was heading for the wall there, and they get close ever so slightly.
Admittedly, he did have the line going into the corner. It was a very gutsy move going down to the pit wall like that. It's definitely safe to say that Hernandez did not expect Bellens to try to make a look that aggressively so early in the race. We've still got 30 minutes left to go in this one. We're just a third of the way through the race. This is a battle that might end the same way, though, if it gets much closer. 3rd place in GTLM. Michael Neumeier, the second, trying to fend off Reese Newland behind. So it's BMW versus Corvette once again. Newland might have the speed in the Corvette to get through here if he could get a good run here off of turn 3.
Yep, absolutely. And it's, like I say, it's good to see the Corvette up there challenging. Because the previous races have been a bit quiet, or just not in the picture, but now in this race anyway, they're right up there. And Neumeier is having to watch his mirrors and keep an eye on Newland, who seems to be the quicker driver at the moment.
If Reese Newland is indeed the faster driver, he's going to want to get by Michael Neumeier quicker to avoid backing himself up into Dmitry Kopanov, who, remember, Kopanov was your pole sitter for today, encountered race struggles early in the race. He's been slowly climbing his way through the order, and he's lapping about the same rate that these 2 drivers are. So he's going to want to get through in a hurry. Your overall race leader, Simeon Lynch, he's just behind this battle as well. You see him just going up the inside of Kovanov in the background of the picture here. So it looks like your LMP2 race leader might have something to say about this fight.
Yep, absolutely. As we look at the race leader now, and in front of him, they've got the battle for between Neumeier and Roland. And they're heading up the hill. I think Lynch should get by them, both of them, without any issues. As yeah, he's got by one of them, and he's got the net. Oh, I thought it was going to. That was so close.
Again, a bit of a late move, and that's part of the. It's probably part of the challenging part about that straight is the fact that it is on a constant radius, so you never quite know where traffic is going to go for you.
Absolutely, it's one of the. It's such a. You're basically going at high speed up that hill. It's so hard to predict the speed difference or keep. Basically, it can kind of catch you out in a way, but Lynch managed to get by without any issues.
That's the thing. He got by without any issues for now. So, my goodness me, what an incredible race this has been ever since the start of the race as well, as a matter of fact. Goodness me.
Because I think, because I believe we're just about to get a replay of the start coming up, so you can watch to see what happened. But yeah, as here we go, as the safety car is just about to pull in, pulls into the pit lane, and yeah, as soon as the green flag's called, that's all the mayhem starts to kick off.
It was an insane race start, wasn't it? I mean, let's take a look at just this massive gaggle of LMP2 machines down here into the first corner. And look at how everybody's going to shoot sideways at the same time and somehow recover. Nobody got spun around in all this. I think the most impressive thing about that start was the fact that nobody at all got collected big time in any of these messes. That's very incredible. There you see, there was the Ferrari that went off early at the start of the race. That was Vecchio, who started second place at GTLM, while the BMWs went off with them. It was a mad start to the race, I think, is an understatement to say.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned at the start of the broadcast. It's always easy to have an incident in turn one because everyone's just so bunched up, and in a way, it just causes a bit of a concertina effect. And yeah, we saw that right there in the replay as we look at the battle for fifth position in GTD between Anton and Titus and sixth place driver Elvis Rankin.
Haven't given our GTD field a lot of love recently, so let's give them some love now. It's Audi versus Mercedes once again. Antonin and Titus trying to fend off Elvis Rankin. Rankin, though, might be able to have a look here into turn one if he could get a good run here through Junsau. A much better apex for Rankin. This is going to be a heads-up drag race. If Rankin did not go for a move here, I would be absolutely shocked. We're approaching halfway now. Rankin is closing all over the rear wing of Antonin Titus, looking to the inside. He's trying to get by the pit wall. He gets cut off, goes to the outside now. Titus trying to squeeze him in. Rankin deeper into the braking zone. Round the outside in turn one. Titus fighting back around the inside, trying to come back for two. Side by side again in three.
Oh, well, that was a fantastic move, but there's still, Titan's not giving up. He's still trying to stay alongside him, but Rankin, I have to say, fair play to him. That took guts. Oh, I thought I was going to be a lunge up the inside, but Rankin, fair play to him. He managed to pull the move off into turn one on the outside, and 10 out of 10 for bravery.
A for effort, we should say. I mean, my goodness, that was one bold maneuver, trying to hang around the outside. A valiant effort as well from Titus to try to maintain that position. Unfortunately, did not managed to get the run needed down through turn three to hold that position, so he is going to have to try to reset that car and try again. It looks like though he's already trying to get the over-under on him through a couple of these apexes.
I think, just watching Titus now, I think if you can get a good exit on the run up the hill, I think he might be able to stay in the slipstream of Rankin, but watching from the onboard, it looks like Rankin seems to be quicker at the moment and is starting to pull away ever so slightly.
Oh, big bobble there from Antonin Titus. You saw that wheel jerk, and that's cost him just a little bit of speed. Any momentum he had on the exit was lost. He's going to have to rely on the draft now to keep him nice and close with Elvis Rankin. It doesn't look like, though, I don't even think he's going to be able to make this lunge here down into turn number 4. I think he's just about finished here with this battle, so very unfortunate for Antonin Titus. He's going to have to hope that maybe that Audi ahead of him makes a bit of a mistake, because otherwise I don't see him closing in anytime soon, unless, of course, that Audi does make a massive mistake.
Yeah, and Elvis Rankin's one that I've watched on iRacing in the past. He's a really quick driver. He's raced in the racing stuff like the MX-5, and he's been really quick. And considering at the moment I believe he's only about 14 or 15 years old. So at the moment he's quick, but he made that move, but he didn't do anything silly. He made it when he was being sensible.
Take a look at a couple of the Corvettes here. This is Reese Newland in the GTLM machine. He's got some LMP2 traffic just up the road from there. He was trying to find a way through. He's running in the 4th position right now. He is still trying to close into Michael Neumeier, the 2nd in the BMW machine, just ahead of it. It looks like the 26 car has managed to pull a little bit more of a gap, so he is not close enough. A lot of LMP2 traffic behind him, though.
Yeah, LMP traffic coming through now, and this could, disrupt the battle in GTLM. But so close there. I thought I was going to end up in contact as the LMP2 car still trying to get around and riding on board at the moment. Into the second.
Oh, here goes Kovanov! Oh no! Contact! And that was definitely some contact there. Dmitry Kovanov not giving Newland any space whatsoever. Andreas Riera makes it 3 wide down the inside to go through. Kovanov hangs on around the outside to make the spot work. And meanwhile, here comes Xavier Sanchez up the middle as well, darting around these two drivers. So the battle's coming to blows here in the Corvette class right now. Dmitry Kovanov definitely makes the move work somehow. He managed to actually get a bigger run than poor Newland did on the outside of Junsao. I mean, how do you manage to do something like that?
Yeah, I'm gobsmacked myself, but I'm amazed that both of these drivers never had contact and even spun each other out, because they were so close together. They ended up rubbing door handles. But thankfully they managed to survive as we look back up in the P2 class and the battle for second place between Kazuki Omashima and Blair Mann.
Battle that's broke up. It broke up a little while ago, and look at this though. On the last lap alone, Blair Mann has closed in 0.8 of a second on Kazuki Umashima. No doubt as a result of lap traffic getting in Umashima's way. Definitely not something Umashima would have wanted to see. He's now closing up on the back of Carter Hutchinson. Looks like he's pulling away just a little bit now. The gap hanging at just underneath 1 second, so just barely at the edge of the drafting range. Look at Blair Mann, though, using that GTD machine to try to get that little bit more draft down the straightaway.
Yeah, and you can do that as well in some multi-class races. You can use the slow as a P2 in the GTD classes in the pits.
Malte Stumpf is in the lane in his in that lime green Audi machine. So the Audi Art LMS of Malte Stumpf is in. 13-second pit stop, about 29.5 seconds total in the lane. Now, where is he going to come out is a big question. It's a bit of an awkward pit exit, isn't it? Coming out right onto the longest straight on the track. Stumpf is out, though, and thankfully in a little bit of clean air. But not for long, though, as here comes Argeus Riera just up behind him.
Yeah, a couple of P2 cars on a GTLM car. So he's came out and clear it in front of him, sort of, but he's got traffic quicker cars coming up behind him to lap him. So he needs to be aware and keep aware of what's around him. But he's apart from that, he's not had any issues after coming out of the pitch. So so far so good.
Pit window is now starting to open up then for the GTD machines at least. We'll have to see what this is going to mean for the rest of the GTD field. Case Kerwin has closed into Daniel Kraft in the LMP2 field. This battle looking really close for LMP2. The battle for 4th position is on once again as Kerwin gets a massive draft down the very long pit straightaway. Will he have the lunge into turn 1? He will have the lunge into turn 1. Harder on the brakes, side by side. It's a dead heat. Daniel Kraft, can he get the cutback? No, he cannot. Casey Kerwin has got himself 4th place.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Casey. He managed to get it done. He didn't lock up any wheels into turn 1, but it's an easy thing to do around this track because they've got a GTD car in front of them, and they managed to get by the GTD car as Kraft just gets held up ever so slightly. But again, he's trying to push and keep up with Casey Kerwin, but at the moment I think Kerwin is just slightly quicker at this moment in time.
Neumeier comes into the pits here from the GTLM machine. He was one of the top runners, I believe, running 3rd place. He's down to 6th at the moment. We're expecting about a 12 to 13 second pit stop here from him as well. Actually, check that, 8.5 seconds from Michael Neumeier. A much shorter pit stop than his GTD counterpart. So Neumeier out of the pits in the 9th position. He'll likely cycle back through the 3rd, though, when everything's said and done.
Yeah, he heads out the pits now in this awkward pit entry, and yeah, it's a tricky pit exit, pit entry. Can't even English today, but yeah, he comes out the pits and he's got some clear air in front of him, and yeah, a nice pit stop, a quick pit stop from Neumeier as well.
Just up the road is Gianni Vecchio, who's trying to have a go at Jack Andronek. This is the two Ferraris going at it just a few feet up the road. Vecchio, you remember, he started 2nd place today, had the massive misfortunes early in the race, 2 different spins, and he's still trying to work his way up through the order, though. Still well down, though. Looks like he's about 8th or 9th place right now in class, might be even 10th, is struggling to find a way past Jack Andronek. I mean, look at how close he is right on the back end of that 36 machine.
Yeah, hopefully Vecchio doesn't do anything stupid. They basically just lunge up the inside, but yeah, he seems to be, when a race doesn't go his way, he seems to get very frustrated, Gianni. So hopefully, like I say, he doesn't do anything stupid. He's got the run on Jack, heading up to the home straight now, and I hope he's getting closer now, so he might try and make a move, but as Jack actually goes to the inside to try and defend, and Vecchio absolutely just throws it up the inside, and can he get the move done? Yeah, he runs wide a little bit and miss it on the apex, but manages to get the move finished, and yeah, gains another position.
Great pass from Gianni Vecchio. Once again, a very, very thrilling overtake down into turn number 1. The downhill braking zone, one of the hardest you'll see on the circuit here today. And Andronek's so close to the back end, but not close enough to make the move work.
Yeah, and Vecchio's starting to pull away now, but his look back in the GTLM class at the battle for 3rd place between Koffenhoff and Newland. Yeah, these guys have been pretty much together since the start of the race, and there's nothing really to separate them apart from a GTD car between the both of them, as you can see right now.
Dean Newland still trying to hang on. He's trying to see if he can maybe pick up yet another position around the outside. That was 2nd place in the GTD category that he just passed by in the run-up onto the front straightaway once again. So Newland still trying to see if he can reel in Dmitry Kofanov in that number 4 Corvette.
Absolutely, and yeah, if you can't get by him, he might be able to, if he can stay with him, he might be able to save some fuel by staying in that slipstream and maybe doing some lifting and coasting, but with what we've got, 16 minutes left in this race, I think it's basically, at this point of the race, you've just got to basically treat it as a sprint race.
A couple more cars are down in the pits right now. Elvis Renkin is among them. Jesus Barmejo is also down, both machines in the GTD category. They're just now on pit exit, so cars are still coming down for the pit stop. Still got a lot of cars that need to come in for their stops, as a matter of fact, as well. We're approaching that 16-minute mark, so I have a very strong feeling that pit road is about to get very busy.
Yep, absolutely, but I think I'm expecting quite a lot of cars to be in the pits within maybe the next 4 or 5 laps, maybe in 3 laps even. So yeah, it depends if drivers are in clear air. If drivers are in clear air, they might be trying to stretch fuel out as long as possible.
Suzuki Umeshima has continued to extend his gap on Blair Mann. That gap about 1.3 seconds now and continuing to grow. Umeshima clearly has the pace. He has that faster car. Blair Mann's got to hope that Umeshima catches a big bunch of lap traffic to help him close the gap.
Yep, absolutely. And Kazuki's managed to keep that gap around about 1.5 seconds. And yeah, I think it'll be very close between these guys if they pit at the same time. I think Kazuki might try and go as long as possible. I think Blair might try and do an undercut.
It comes to the point where you got to decide what do you want to do right now. I mean, you're reaching the very end of that pit window. We're under 15 minutes to go now, just barely. I see Simeon Lynch, your overall race leader, is at pit road right now. And meanwhile, will Kazuki Umeshima follow? Umeshima comes in as well. Blair Mann stays out. So an interesting call from Blair Mann trying to go for the overcut.
Yeah, I'm interested by that, but yeah, I'm surprised by Kazuki coming in right now. But I guess he saw the traffic in front of him and he didn't want to get held up too much and lose too much time.
Right now, still waiting the pit stop, so you can see a lot of cars, mostly LMP2 traffic coming in behind. Kevin Bellins is in. Yannick Schnertz is in. Casey Kerwin's in. Matteo Calistani is in as well. Daniel Kraft is there. There's a lot of cars right now in pit road. Joaquin Hernandez Gil is down in pit road right now as well. A lot of machines in pit road. Daniel Kraft just leaves. Casey Kerwin is also on pit exit. Xavier Sanchez, I believe, stayed out. And trying to see if he's already made a stop or if he still has to make his. No, Sanchez still has to make a stop yet from Sanchez in 6th place.
Yep, so Sanchez is P6 at the moment, but he'll probably fall back to about, I'm guessing, round about P8, P9 after the pit stops. So, yeah, the pit stop cycle going on at the moment, and once it's all done, the positions should probably go back to what they were before, or kind of close enough to what they were before anyway.
Matthew Stagg is down to pit road, so the current GTD race leader is in. He's down to 3rd now as he exits the pit road, so Stumpf is going to be back up to 2nd now. I believe this is going to make Hendrik Cruz into your new GTD race leader here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at Cruz at the moment, leading GTD. But I was just watching away from this at the moment. I was just watching Simon Lunch, and he tried to get by a GT car and just ran wide in the final corner, just ever so slightly. But he didn't lose too much time, as Blair Mann's just leaving the pits right now from P2, and he's on the pit exit. And it's going to be close between him and Lunch, I think.
Kazuki Umeshima is out of the pit roads, and Blair Mann has actually jumped Umeshima on the pit exit. Blair Mann comes out in front of Umeshima, which is surprising because he got a little bit of a tank slapper going just at pit exit as he came down through turn 1. So Blair Mann has gapped Umeshima for the 2nd position.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by that, to be honest. I mean, I can't think of anything to say. As a GTLM leader is into the pits right now, Alexei Nesov.
So Nesov down to pit road, and I believe this is just about rounding up our final round of pit stops for the day. And of course, might have 1 or 2 cars that might come down, a little bit of stragglers after the fact, but it does look like just about everyone at this point has come down at some point or another to make those stops. We know Sanchez has yet to come down to the lane. He's still running out on the track just behind this group, just a little ways through that middle sector right about now.
Yep, absolutely. So Sanchez still needs to pit. So, yeah, all the pit stops are just about done. And I think Sanchez is, I believe, he's the only driver who still needs to pit in the P2 class. So, yeah, he's still having a good race at the moment anyway, nevertheless.
And it actually does look like Xavier Sanchez did come down for his stop just a little while ago. He's back down to the 12th position, which is exactly where he was actually prior to the pit window. So unless he had some sort of major incident, which I don't see any damage on his car, well, that only leaves one possibility. He must have come into pit. Taking a look over at Artem Grabau right now in his Corvette. He's right now ahead and in the, I believe, the GTLM race lead, but not for long as he's now coming down the pit road.
Yep, so, yeah, Grabau into the pits, and, yeah, I don't think his pit stop will take too long because, yeah, there's a couple of other GTLM class cars coming into the pits as well, so...
We're comparing this to Alexei Nesov, who, if you remember, was in the GTLM race lead prior to this. Nesov just on the front straightaway now, and he is going to be well clear as they go down into turn number 1. The 14 machine just now leaving pit road, so... Looks like Alexei Nesov will once again inherit the race lead in GTLM.
Yeah, so Nesov having a great run at the moment, and pretty much he's been in command since the start of the race in GTLM, and just managed to keep hold of the lead and keep hold of the lead after the pit stops. So if he keeps it all together and keeps it clean and not get involved in any trouble, he should hopefully hold on for the GTLM win.
So this is also going to promote Casey Kerwin up into the 4th position, and he's actually pretty darn close right now to Kazuki Umeshima. This is a massive Hornets nest of cars here, and this is really, you can see about you can see about 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the shot there for a brief moment in LMP2. We're looking at Casey Kerwin, and look at this massive gaggle of cars. It's a Hornets nest as Umeshima goes all over the place, and so does Casey Kerwin. They're both trying to get around lap traffic. Neither driver can afford to be held up here. Should note that Blair Mann has gotten clear of all this lap traffic. He's actually started to gap Umeshima by quite some margin here as Kerwin ducks his way between 2 cars, slides a bit loose on the exit.
Yeah, and this is the thing, if you get caught in the wrong place in this middle sector, it's twisty section as well, into either of the hairpins, you can lose a bunch of time, and Kerwin doesn't get held up too much. He manages to get by the GTLM and GTD traffic with no issues at all.
Umeshima just got by the final lap car of Gianni Vezio. Looks like Casey Kerwin is going to do this here on the front straightaway out of the final corner here, and he is going to get this one done. Going to go to the outside of Vecchio, is going to just let him on right through. No dramas there.
Yep, no issues there. And Kerwin's even though he's mostly known for his oval racing, he's on the road side of things on iRacing. He's pretty handy by the looks of it.
Battle for third in GTLM. Dmitry Kovanov still trying to fend off Michael Neumeier the second, and so far Kovanov doing a very good job in doing so. He's been having a good run. He's right now just under a second of Neumeier, trying to make sure that he's staying there. It is right now a Corvette 1, 2, and 3. Usually the first Corvette we see in the field on one of these tracks is typically hanging back about 6th or 7th place, so it is really, really good to see these guys running up here. Remember as well, we have a new balance of performance as well, introduced recently to the service as well here, Ryan. And I think that is one of the big reasons here why the Corvettes are in front, is because the BMWs seem to have been put in their place.
Yeah, absolutely. The new balance of performance at the moment, it seems to be making a big difference. You're seeing the Corvettes up there. You're seeing, as we saw in qualifying, we saw a Ferrari or two up there as well. But the Corvette is good to see it up there as well, considering it's a new car. It wasn't really anywhere when it was released, but at the moment after this BOP update, it's fantastic to see.
Balance of performance. Some people like it, some people hate it. I tell you though, it can really work wonders and make racing a lot more exciting. As Diego Carmona having some troubles there getting by Dmitry Kovanov.
Yeah, it was he got held up ever so slightly, but managed to get by without any issues, or not any major issues anyway. But yeah, after the pit stops, it's just again quieting down. But as we look at the leader, Simon Lynch, who's pretty much been in command for most of this race, and he's not really been under attack, I have to say. Leonard, he's been in a class of his own.
Should know we haven't really had any spins lately as well, which is of course a good thing to see, unlike what we saw at the Roval, where we thought we wouldn't really be able to get away with that. Same at Road Atlanta. It has been, really settled here. Oh my goodness! All right, we need to take a look at the 27 machine of Kevin Bellens, because he just threw one of the gutsiest moves of lap-in traffic I've ever seen in my life on Elvis Rankin. He was trying to lap by Antonin Titus. They were in a battle for position. Look at this move here that he threw as Titus went up the inside of Rankin.
Yeah, looking at them. That was well, the only description I can use of that is I bet Elvis was thinking, better check my underpants.
Talk about a Cole Brown moment there for that LMB2 machine. I mean, goodness gracious. Take another look at this one, this time from the air. Watch this brave move here. They were just battling as well. Oh my word. Talk about muscling the Audi out of the way. Antonin Titus, by the way, still trying to reel in Elvis Rankin behind. These two drivers have been locked in a battle, and they are still going side by side. They actually made a bit of contact in their own battle as well there. I honestly don't think that Audi realized that Delara was up behind him.
Yeah, and just watching the replay as well, Rankin got a slight bit of damage on the left front. And I was just watching that, and I had to take a big deep breath, because that was scary. To what, as Rankin gets sideways in turn 1?
Rankin gets sideways in turn 1. That lets Antonin Titus through, so the Mercedes finally triumphs and goes through into the race lead. Big sideways moment for Elvis Rankin, who had to bite that car back, and thank goodness he did. Meanwhile, you saw as Antonin Titus went a little bit defensive on the exit. Definitely did not want to give him any draft.
Yep, and Rankin, as we were saying, or basically considering Rankin was keeping his cool before the pit stops in the first half of the race, he kind of just got sideways in turn 1. I don't know if he just got slightly unrattled by that slight bit of contact from the P2 car, but he's still having a good race nevertheless. But the Mercedes has got by him, and yeah, it's just unfortunate because Elvis was having a great race there.
5 minutes remaining here in the next round, round 6 of the IMSA Sports Car Championship. Big lockup there for one of the Corvettes down in the turn number 1. An estimated 4 laps remaining. That was Kovanov, and look at this. He's gone wide again for Kovanov. Michael Neumeier's all over the back of him. Could have a battle here. I believe this is the 3rd position here in the GTLM class, as Neumeier trying the outside doesn't get the best run he would have hoped for, though, as Dmitry Kovanov manages to cover him off.
Yeah, Neumeier's putting Kovanov under huge pressure, and Kovanov is feeling the pressure now, and he's defending massively. They've got a P2 car coming up to lap time, and it looks like that could be, I think it's Daniel Kraft by the looks of it. Yeah, it is Daniel Kraft coming up to lap time, and he's trying to get up by these GTLM cars as quickly as possible, because Casey Kerwin is closing him down massively.
That's the battle for 4th place in LMP2, trying to dart its way by, as Kerwin is having to try the outside here. Neumeier tried to capitalize on Kovanov being pushed wide. That didn't work out for him, though. Now he's sent wide himself, as Casey Kerwin down the inside. Kovanov breaking a bit earlier that time, trying to make sure that he let Kerwin through and got the max amount of draft that he can here down the straight without running wide. Now, can Neumeier have that look into turn number 1? He's going to be closing rapidly because of the draft, but I don't think it's nearly going to be close enough for turn 1. Potentially, though, for turn number 4, if Kovanov locks up like that again.
Yeah, absolutely. And Neumeier's closing him right back up on the braking, and Kovanov is just defending massively, and he's just feeling the pressure ever so slightly. But as they come round now, and Neumeier, I think if he gets a run up to the home straight again, I think if he's close to, he'll try and make a move and just throw it up the inside.
Not close up this time into turn number 4. He is going to have to wait again. Do want to note that Elvis Rankin is close back into Antonin Titus, so the battle is once again on in GTD. Rankin is all over the back bumper now in the Audi. He's trying to find a way back to the Mercedes. Look at how much on the defensive Titus goes as we ride on board with Rankin down in the turn number 1. Rankin doing a good job at hanging behind and trying to make sure he keeps Titus nice and close. We thought maybe that Mercedes would have the position done. Rankin might have something to say about that, though, as Titus goes just the smallest bit wide on the exit, but he is still going to have more momentum down the straight.
Yep, absolutely. And considering that Rankin got that slight bit of damage on the left front, it doesn't seem to be affecting the straight line speed by any means. And at the moment, in a straight line, he seems to be the quicker car. And the Mercedes just got sideways ever so slightly.
Look at how close Rankin is right now on the back end of Titus. He wants to try to find a way through however he can. This is such a good battle, isn't it, for the position. Oh, contact! Sends him wide, and that is going to spin Elvis Rankin around. That was really messy, and somehow Elvis Rankin is the one that ended up on the bad side of it.
Yeah, we're just about to look at a quick look at the replay now, as they come up to the first of the hairpins, and it looks like Rankin tried to. I don't know if Rankin was trying to close the inside, or if he just got caught out by under braking.
It looked to me like Titus tried to close the door, and that just didn't work for him at all. I mean, actually looking back at it now, I wonder if Titus got a little bit loose at the same time. Whatever the case, did not end really well for Elvis Rankin. Should note, though, that P2 and LMP2, they are closing rapidly, and we're coming up now onto the white flag lap this time by.
Yep, and the leader's coming up across the line now to start the final lap. And the battle for P2, like we mentioned, is starting to close up again. And as Anders watching Blair Mann and Kazuki Omishima coming across the start-finish line now, and they've got a P2 car and a GTD car in front of them. They've got coming up the lap, so this could be a thing to throw into the mix.
Umashima ran wide in turn 1. That cost him a lot of time. Blair Mann's going to be well clear of the Mercedes off of turn number 3. Umashima's going to get by him here on the straightaway. Already Blair Mann flashing the headlights, trying to make sure that Umashima stays very well and clear. This might get very, very intense here if Umashima can close this up much more. It looks like Blair Mann might get held up here by Inigo Carmona.
Yeah, and Kazuki Omishima is absolutely giving it everything. He's just throwing this car and wringing the neck out of it, and he's closing right up onto Mann now. And this P2 car, they're coming up the lap. They're not doing any favours, but and Blair Mann's getting frustrated, judging by the headlight flashing. But Kazuki Omishima is getting closer and closer.
Simeon Lynch right now is through the final corner. He's just out of Junsao now. And he is going to be up and over the rise. And look at the battle, though. It's still closing, though. Umeshima is going to get close. Simeon Lynch is definitely going to win the race in LMP2, but all eyes going to turn back here as Simeon Lynch crosses the line. Umeshima, though, he is not going to have enough time to run down Blair Main, who takes second place. Umeshima is forced to settle for third. Meanwhile, it's looks to be like it'll be Alexei Nesov right now. He's just through Junsao now. He is looking very set to win GTLM for the first time in the Corvette.
Yep, and it's good to see a Corvette up there now after the BOP update. And yeah, Nesov coming up to the start-finish line now. And I'm also keeping an eye on the GTD class as well. We're keeping an eye on the leader, Hendrik Cruz. Coming round it's getting lapped by a GT9 car, but at the moment, Cruz is in control at the moment, and it looks like he's going to take the win.
Oh my goodness me, that was after the flag. There was a big check there just after the checkered flag, as a bit of a close with a few drivers just after the flag there. Hendrik Cruz, meanwhile, though, over the rise and through the final corner now. Another dominated win here for the Audi R8 LMS number 3 machine of Hendrik Cruz, who comes around and takes the race win in the GTD category.
Yep, and second place is going to go to Matthew Stagg in the GTD class, followed by, looks like Carter Hutchison to round out the top 3 in the class.
Just about 3 more drivers left to cross the line before the results are made official. Taj Edwards and Matt Stumpf among those drivers. Stumpf crosses the line now. Just waiting now on Taj Edwards, one of the GTLM machines. I believe the last running GTLM machine we have on the course right now. He is actually, he's out of fuel. Taj Edwards is limping across. He's out of fuel on the backstretch. Oh, dearie me. Somebody go over there and give the poor guy a push. This is sad. He might have, we might have Jacob Tofts up here. Jacob Tofts is coming up behind him, just through the final corners himself. So we'll have to see here. Tofts is, of course, already finished. So we'll have to see if he's going to give him a push here. Josh Edwards, poor guy, is just sitting there. This is, we'll have to see here. We'll see his good old sportsmanship.
Yeah, I think Jacob Tofts, I thought it was going to give him a push.
And Taj Edwards is forced to tow. It's going to be a DNF for poor Taj Edwards. That's, oh, dearie me. That's most unfortunate there. Well, let's go to your post-race results. Why not? Simeon Lynch takes the overall victory in the LMP2 category. Blair Mann in second place. Kazuki Umeshima has to settle for third place after a valiant effort. Casey Kerwin moves all the way up to 4th position after starting 8th. Daniel Kraft finishes 5th. Matteo Calistani in 6th. Yannick Schnetz in 7th, Thibaut Wardishny in 8th, Kevin Bellens in 9th, Argenis Rear. I apologize, I can't figure out how to speak all of a sudden, but him is Rira in the 10th position, Xavier Sanchez in 11th. It's going to be Joaquin Hernandez Gil in the 12th position, with Inigo Carmona down in 13th place, around a 13-car LMP2 field for today. Moving down through the order, Alexei Nesov finishes it up in first place for GTLM. Artem Grabau in second. Dmitry Kovanov, your former pole center GTLM, has to settle for third. Michael Neumeier the second. After a good fight there for the 4th and 3rd positions, he's going to finish in the 4th position. Reese Doolin finishes 5th. Jacob Toff 6th. Gianni Vecchio 7th. Brett McFadden in 8th. Jack and Derek 9th. Hugo Preto rounds out the top 10 with Mira McKeeve in 11th. Taj Edwards in 12th, poor fellow, and Christian Bassau rounding up the 13-car field in GTLM. For GTD, it's Hendrik Cruz to take a commanding victory in the GTD category in the Audi. 7 seconds behind is Matthew Stagg. Carter Hutchinson finishes off in 3rd. Maltese Duke, the last of the GTD cars, on their own lead lap in 4th place. Then it goes Antonin Titus, Tristan Iglesias, Jesus Barmejo, Elvis Renkin, Ahmed Garib, and Justin Klassen rounding out the top 10. And the final car of the day, Jerry Tallgren, who also finished the race. So only one driver here, well, 2 technically if you count Taj Edwards, 2 drivers here that did not finish the race. So a very, very good result for the whole field overall here, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. There wasn't as many retirements as I thought there would be, but it wasn't as chaotic as Charlotte was last week. But I still enjoyed that race, and there was great racing throughout the field. And especially that battle for second place in LMP2 and the battle in GTD between Rankin and Eaton is what. Yeah, Tinta, I can't remember, but my bad. But yeah, it was still a great race nevertheless. So yeah, and hopefully we get more of the same at Laguna Seca next week.
So good to see Kazuka Umeshima out on the field again. It's been a while since I've seen him race, so it was certainly a show that he put on, and I was glad to see it. Let's take a look at some of the highlights, though, from the race, shall we? Our producer, Connor Maddock, has produced a highlight reel, as always. We've talked about it before. Let's talk about it one more time. The overall race start, complete and utter insanity in the LMV2 field, as we're going to watch as everybody's going to shoot sideways on the exit of turn 2, and we're going to jump back just in time to see it. Look at Fandon now 3-4 wide down the front straightaway, and this is at the start of a 45-minute race, and right about there's the first car that goes sideways. A look at everyone behind him just scrambling somehow. Nobody actually spun all the way around. And taking a look back right away, as you saw, there was your second place driver in the Ferrari that went off. He started second, finished a lot lower than second in today's race as well. How about this battle, though? I believe this was the battle between Blair Mann and Kazuki Umeshima. The first battle that he had, Umeshima diving up the inside into turn number 1. We saw this time and time again throughout the race today, and Umeshima definitely showing people how it's done. Just a couple minutes later, then was this aggressive move down to the inside into turn number 1 in the W2 field that resulted in contact, sending one of those machines wide and losing out not 1 but 2 positions. I believe Casey Kerwin is one of those drivers that went through as well. How about this battle, though? This was, I believe, between Anton and Titus, and the driver he was battling with all race long, Elvis Rankin. He was forced to go to the outside, though, Rankin, as Titus covered off the inside. This was the first of many passing attempts down into turn number 1 amongst the GTD fields in the battle for 5th and 6th place. And look here as Anton and Titus try to cut back on Elvis Rankin. Was not quite able, though, to get the big run that he would have needed down turn 3 and through the backstretch. I actually think that Titus backed off, thought he could maybe get back in line to dive up the inside. As you see, there was the big twitch there, but doesn't seem like it was close enough to really get it. Here was a big battle as well in the GTLM field, and this resulted in a big move there, actually, for Dmitry Kovanov, as he went up the inside, and that did result in a little bit of contact as he squeezed his Corvette running mate out there in that number 8 machine. And then they went, of course, 3 wide with the LB2 traffic. 3 wide is not something we saw all too often this race, but look at Kovanov pulling the outside line perfectly to make sure he got that spot completely secure. This is the talking point of the race here. This massive save, and look at the squeeze there as the LB2 car just darts its way through in the 27 machine. So close, and of course, this battle, unfortunately, this is what ended Elvis Rankin's day, as that battle that had been going on all race long came to a very unfortunate close with just 2 laps remaining. And then, of course, on the final lap, this brilliant effort in an attempt to get the run down, but unfortunately, Umeshima got a tiny bit loose off of Jun Sao, and unfortunately lost a position as Simeon Lynch crossed the line to take victory in the LMP2 class for the day. And that is how that LMP2 battle came to an unfortunate end, as Umeshima just got a little bit sideways, was not able to capitalize on it. A brilliant race overall, though, here, Ryan.
Yeah, it was a great race, and yeah, Simon Lynch took a well-deserved win. And yeah, I don't know about you, but Laguna Seca I'm looking forward to, and it's going to be with 3 classes, with the P2 car, the GT cars, and the GTD cars. That's going to make for a very interesting race.
It certainly will. I mean, the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca is the next race up on the schedule, just 1 week from now on October 27th. And I mean, you and I think we both love that track for our own different reasons, but that is a track that always has the potential to be chaotic. I mean, IMSA's raced there in the past. We've seen some spectacular sights there. It's got one of the most difficult corner complexes you can find in the entire world in the corkscrew. I think there's no disputing that is one of the hardest corner complexes you can find in the entire world of motorsports. And seeing cars trying to lap each other going into there, oh, that's going to be something.
Yeah, let's just say my popcorn is ready, so yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch.
Well, I think then on that note, it is going to be about time to wrap things up for today on another presentation of Friday Night Prime Time here on RaceSpot TV on the iRacing Esports Network. It's been a pleasure once again to bring you coverage once again from flag to flag of what has been an incredibly thrilling race today in Interlagos. The track never fails to provide any less ounce of excitement. Nolan Rempo, Ryan Walker sitting by in the commentary box for today. Connor Maddock behind the cameras for today. And of course, giving us the TV cameras has been It's Von Below for the TrackCams22.com and Tyler Maxton. So thank you to those guys for giving us the awesome cameras for today. And thank you, of course, to all the viewers for watching us and joining us for another absolutely fantastic race. Well, next week is going to, of course, be the round number 7 over at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for joining us once again. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.